Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name's David Austin, and sitting across from me in this beautiful turtleneck sweater with the prettiest long brown hair I've ever seen, my lovely bride, Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin. How are you, beautiful?
I'm great. I'm excited, but I'm a little cold because it is winter when we are recording this.
There you go. The Session with Londa and David's brought to you by Sherwood Austin Solutions. With over 40 years of combined sales success, Sherwood Austin Solutions can help diagnose and prescribe solutions for any problems in your business. A lot of business coaches only look at the bottom line. They're not there to make your quality of life better. Nay. At Sherwood Austin Solutions, Londa takes a holistic approach to make sure all of your goals are being met. Spiritual, familial, and business. I gotta tell you, Londa, you do it right. It's a great time to be in business. Why not be in business with us? Email Londa today at londa@sherwoodaustin.com. That email one more time, londa@sherwoodaustin.com.
It's spelled just the way you think. Londa.
Easy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
It's not Landa.
I had a nice message sent to me this week from a past client, completely unsolicited, who said, "My life was a mess when you found me."
I love that.
And just the way it started, I thought, oh no, I got to get my box of tissues. And he went on to talk about he was in over $45,000 in debt, not making it in the industry, ready to quit, walk away and go do something else. Just very unfocused, very lost. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, well, gosh, and where are you now? And he said, I paid off $60,000 in tax debt. Mm-hmm. I've got $40,000 in the bank.
And that credit card debt is gone.
The credit card debt, that debt is all gone. He's looking to purchase his first home the first quarter of this year.
That's great.
Going to get married this year. And it was so sweet. He said, I owe all my success to you. And you know what? I'm telling that story. I was going to say not to toot my own horn, but toot. I am going to toot my own horn. We spent 1 hour coaching together.
Wow.
1 hour. That's it. And he had all those dramatic results. We had a couple of follow-up, like quick 5 or 10 minute conversations.
Sure.
But that 1 hour did that for him. So when I am at a speaking gig or I'm talking to someone on the phone and I tell you, can I change your life in 1 hour? Absolutely, I can. Because people sometimes are like, ooh, that's, it's kind of expensive. It's really not. But it's, I don't know.
Right.
I say, give it a shot. I mean, I don't work on long contracts. So if after that first hour, you don't like it, you don't have results, you don't want to do, that's fine. Don't come back. But my philosophy of coaching has always been to work myself out of a job. Right. So anytime I'm consulting with somebody about something, that's my gig. In fact, right now I have someone who wants to hire me as a business coach, mm-hmm. but the way that he wants to do it would be no foreseen end to the relationship. And so I said, you know what? This is a little different for me. Give me a couple days to mull this over and figure out exactly how I want to structure this.
I gotcha.
Because it's just a different concept for me.
Yeah.
I always try to work my way out of a job. And he said, no. I respect and admire you so much. I want to run with you for a long time.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, okay. All right now.
How much does that cost? I don't know.
I don't know exactly. And so it's more of like a on retainer.
Sure.
And so I got to figure that out. But
I think that's a great sounding thing.
That's a business person who's willing to make an investment in their future.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Most people are like, help me solve this problem as fast as possible, which I'm really good at. And the reason why is because I see stuff that other people don't see. I don't think the way other people think. And I've often been told there's something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. My brain is wired differently for this purpose right here.
I gotcha.
For this, because I see the stuff other people don't see. And I love what you say in the intro. You know, a lot of people just look at the bottom line, and I take a more holistic approach, because sometimes it's as simple as, you know, a small shift that needs to be made.
Sure.
You know?
Yep.
And so, yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
There you go.
Here's what I want to talk about in this program.
Okay.
And I'm not going to give too many inside secrets away. I totally am going to tell everything.
Can't.
This episode of this program is about branding and how important it is to stand out amongst your peers in whatever industry you do. It's all about how people perceive you, and your success is based on that. That's what this episode is all about. And I'm going to give you a hint. This show's name is going to change.
You are the worst secret keeper ever.
I'm not saying what it is, though.
You have to stop. Okay. This is an interesting topic to me.
Yes.
And thanks for springing it on me. And that's the thing. We often don't, well, in fact, we never rehearse these podcasts.
Why would we?
Don't.
Why would we?
I go, hey, it's time to do the podcast. You ready to go? And we sit down, and often you'll look across the table from me and say, what do you want to talk about? And I say, I don't know. And you hit the go button.
That's how to do it.
Like, it's crazy.
And I'm thinking very heavily about branding, because we have skin in the game and are rebranding some of our things.
We are. And here's what's interesting about branding. So someone told me a couple of years ago, I just love your brand. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what do you mean? I mean, I've never branded myself.
Right.
And in fact, right now we're working with a company, the Brandy Cavett company.
Uh-huh.
And we also have in the pocket a really beautiful brand package for Sherwood Austin Solutions,
right,
that we worked with Honk Creative on.
Right.
And so these two companies are really amazing, but in working to develop a brand, I get stuck.
Yes.
Which is why you have to hire a professional when you're stuck.
Yes.
And so when they said that to me a couple of years ago, I thought, man, I don't brand. I've never branded. But here's what they were talking about. They were talking about the part of who I am that I put on social media. Mm-hmm. That's what they were talking about. So what you put on social media and the way that you speak to people mm-hmm. in conversations, the way you show up in a room, the way you deal with clients, it's all your personal brand.
That's right.
And the experts in the industry, in the branding sector, mm-hmm. what they're good at doing is taking the who you are and turning it into a little icon you can see on your phone.
Right.
Right. And so, but that's not a piece that I'm good at.
Right.
at doing
Sure.
that.
Sure.
Now, I could teach you all about how to be your authentic self.
Right.
Without apology. And it's not because I am always in that space, because I'm not. I go through the same thing everyone else goes through.
Right.
I get triggered. I feel insecure. I feel like a piece of crap. I feel, as a lot of women can relate to this, we always feel like we're either too much or not enough.
Right.
And so I go through all that too. But at the end of the day, I come back to my center, which is I know who I am. I can only be who I am, but I can be that authentically,
right,
truthfully, fully. Mm-hmm. So that's what I have to say about branding.
Well, branding is of critical import, right? When you're in sales, what's the number one thing you have to do? You have to tell people who you are and what you do.
I was going to say see people.
Yeah. The number one thing you have to do is tell people who you are and what you do. Your brand is a way for people to get the message before you're in front of them, telling them who you are and what you do. And it's great to have a good reputation. Here's what I mean. You can be the smartest accountant in the world. You can have the best math and science mind in the world. You can have perfect tax returns every single time. But if when you go to a business meeting, you go in a holy sweatsuit, a Fortune 500 company's probably not going to hire you. Your brand is not attractive. Your skill can be great, but you have to have a brand that people want to be around. And then you have to perform up to the standards of your brand.
It sounds like part of what you're saying is your personal presentation is also your brand.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's not all of it, but it's part of it.
Right. Yeah.
Your brand is a lot of stuff. For instance, on our radio show, Austin's on the Air, we're working on a new logo that we're going to unveil. And with that, we're going to have a new look for ourselves on the media. Right? I think it's important to have a cohesive look. We're getting new headshots done because our current headshots, which we got for the session with Londa and David, don't match the colors of either the radio station we're on or our personal brand identity.
Right.
So
they're also 2 years old. I feel like I look a little different. You're the same guy forever and ever. You're timeless. You're a timeless beauty, David.
Well, here's what's different about me. Sometimes I'm thinner. Sometimes I'm heavier. Right now, I'm in the middle.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I personally, I think we need to look like we want to appear to the world.
Right.
I do. I'm never going to the mall in holy sweatpants. Never. Because someone I know will see me and they'll think, oh, that David, he must not be doing well. You know what I mean? I want to portray myself as I see myself and as I want you to see me.
Now, this is interesting because this gets into personal biases. Biases.
Yep. Biases is right.
So that gets into that.
Right.
And we all want to say we shouldn't be biased. We all want to say that. The fact of the matter is we are, because human nature.
That's right.
You know, the studies that say you are judged on the way you look within 3 seconds of people seeing you. You've got 3 seconds. That's what experts say. Social scientists tell us 3 seconds to make that first impression, and you never have an opportunity to make the first impression again.
Right.
And if you want to know more about first impressions, go back and listen to our podcast on first impressions. But you know, and I'm not saying it has to be a certain way. I'm saying you have to be aware of it.
Right.
Right. So there's a thing people talk about called resting bitch face. Right. And it's people who, women primarily, who, you know, this all kind of, the conversation started where women started talking about how men would tell them, hey, you need to smile more.
Right.
And they're like, you know, didn't appreciate that. And then this term came about. And I'm not saying, listen, if you're not a natural smiler, then that's fine. Be who you are.
Right.
What I am saying, though, is if you want to attract more people to you, you may need to shift that.
That's exactly right.
We just had a conversation earlier this morning that, yes, was very triggering for me. And where we talked about how my language is sometimes a little too professional for the people that I'm trying to talk to at times, especially regionally.
Right.
It's a little too professional. I need to loosen it up a little, be a little more, I don't know what, I haven't figured it out yet, but you know, and in that conversation, I read to you an email I sent to somebody and you were like, yeah, that's exactly. And I think you could see in
the language
you heard
that you
in that
used.
email that I'm trying to be a little more regionally,
homespun.
I guess, regionally familiar.
Right. And I got to tell you, that is magic. If you're talking to somebody, say in Louisiana, it's a slower kind of conversation. People have time to find out how you're doing, and they want to know what's going on in your life. I can't walk into Ami Grocery without spending 20 minutes smoking and joking with Bradley there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's
he
that
really
guy.
mean smoking,
No, we don't smoke, but yeah.
Talking is what you mean.
Absolutely. Because he's that guy. Well, a lot of people in the South are just like that.
Right.
So when you're talking to people in the South, you can't be like someone in New York City who only wants small snippets of information so they can go on with their day.
Now, you can be, but if you don't like the results you're getting, you may have to shift the language.
That's exactly right. And
you
that's
may
all,
have to.
It's all part of branding. Now,
and it's not about changing who you are.
Right.
It's about, listen, if you want your sales to go up, you need to speak to people the way that they speak.
That's exactly right.
And this goes back to our training that we do on personalities.
Yep.
Right? Everybody speaks a different language personality-wise. And if you can speak to them in their language, then it's helpful. When I'm talking to someone who is a peace personality, I often will drop my voice.
Sure.
Slow it down and soften it. I try to keep my hand motions to a minimum, which is very difficult for me.
Right. Super hard for me.
All of that's really hard for me. If you're talking to a power person, you may up your voice a little bit and you want to speak with certainty.
Yeah.
And you want to get to the point quickly. You know what I mean? So it's just there's a lot of nuances to it. And if you don't want to do any of that, you don't have to. You don't have to. And if you're getting the results you want, then shut this off and go do something else. But if you're not getting the results you want, you may need to shift some things around, including your personal brand.
That's exactly right. Branding is critical. And here's an example of how important branding is. Do you know there's never been a business that's successful that is in a blighted building?
What do you mean a blighted building?
The front of the building's burned a little bit. There's siding missing. Buildings are not acceptable for positive growth in companies if they do not look good. I've talked a lot over the years about having an icon location for your restaurant, for your bank, for your whatever it is. And that's because your brand is important to people.
Right.
If you're a bank and you look like money, people are going to trust you more than if you're a bank and you have a burnout front left side of the building.
Yeah, we went to a restaurant recently that, we went to support the owner.
Right.
I don't ever need to go back again because of the presentation. I thought, if it is this bad in the front, what's it like in the back?
Well, and I can tell you, this particular place we went to had spectacular food, and it was a breakfast joint. That's what it is. They open early and they close right after lunch. So they're not a full-service all-day restaurant. And for me, it can look like a gas station bathroom. I love Waffle House. You know what I mean? And Waffle House literally is a gas station bathroom that serves waffles. That's what it is.
Okay, so which is it?
Well, but
which is it? Does it matter or does it not matter?
That's their brand. You won't go to Waffle House because you don't like the way it looks.
That's not true. I won't go to Waffle House because it makes me sick every time I go.
Okay.
I don't care anything about how it looks. And in fact, I love that all the cooking happens right there because generally the staff is very interactive with you and they're funny. I don't know where they find these people that have such good sense of humor, but they're all working at Waffle House. But also, if something jumps off, they will mess you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the Waffle House employee reputation. Like, we're friendly till we don't have to be. You know what I mean?
No, I've never seen a Waffle House employee not be super friendly ever. Never.
You've never seen them get in a fight?
No.
Well, you should look up Waffle House fights on TikTok.
Oh, that's exciting.
Let me tell you.
That's a thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Some Waffle House employees know how to fight.
So what I'm saying is your branding is important. I don't care who you are. And companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their brand identity. They do. You know what I mean? They hire people to help them with their mission statement. They hire people to help them with their color standards.
Yep.
I mean, all the things that make a business look and feel a certain way.
You don't have to tell me. I'm paying for that right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's important. You know, your reputation is part of the brand, but it's not the brand. It's part of the brand.
Right. There's a lot that goes into it.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it. You can't have a cute logo and be a jerk to people.
Right. I'm sorry. If you're a jerk to people, you'll have a very small group of people who want to work with you. And you know what they are? They're jerks too. People who are jerks attract other jerks. It's true.
Well, you attract like kind. So that is interesting too, because, you know, if all of your clients are difficult clients, it's time to look in the mirror.
Right. I worked for somebody once, and I'm not going to say who or in what industry, and this person said to me at least once a month, "I've had the worst experience with a customer that I've ever had." At least once a month. So they progressively got worse. Or is it that there's something going on with your communication style that causes both of you to be uneasy during the transaction? And I bet that's more realistic than you just have jerk clients that come out of nowhere.
There's always outliers, right?
That's
but
right.
I went through a period of time in my business, in my real estate specifically, where I kept attracting this one certain kind of personality. I mean, it was like one after another of these people that were just really confrontational, really difficult to work with, really demanding. And looking back on it, I know why, because I had turned into that person during that time in my life. Now, right after that, I made some major life changes, and all of a sudden, I'm not attracting those kind of clients anymore.
Interesting.
In fact, the clients I attract now tend to be some of the most easygoing people I have ever met.
And they're warm and they're friendly. Interesting.
And as I'm going through my emails, right, because I'm clearing out my emails, I'm looking at all these like old transactions, right? Because I'm like, this needs to go into that folder and that needs to go into that folder. And why do I still have this? I can delete this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, but it's reminding me of all the people that I've known. And I've looked through the last 2 years of clients. They've been easy peasy, breezy, beautiful.
What's been different in your life in the last 2 years?
I think that for me, and I know you want me to say it's you.
No, I don't think that at all. It's for sure not me.
We've been married a little over 3 years, but I mean, to be honest, if I'm being really transparent, because this is the behind the scenes look at who we are, right? I went through a divorce.
I can't wait to tell you guys what the name of the show is going to be.
You can't say it. But I had gotten really, really bitter in my marriage. I was really frustrated, and I was really pissed off and felt really stuck in the place that I was in. And all of a sudden I was attracting clients who felt the same way. And then when I got divorced, I didn't attract those kind of clients anymore. Like when I wasn't in that place personally of feeling stuck and pissed off and not wanting to, be cooperative with anyone for any reason about anything, when I was no longer in that place, and I was just in a much happier place in my life, then lo and behold, I attracted much happier people.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Including you.
You get what you look for. Look for the good, and you're going to find it.
And I attracted the happiest guy in the world, David Austin.
I can't wait to tell you guys what the new name of the show is going to be, but we're not doing that right now.
No, we are not.
I really want to. We're not. I'm not gonna.
Okay, I just gave him a look that scared him.
It did. It scared me bad.
Yeah, but that mean is still in there.
But rebrand. I can't laugh because I'll go into a coughing fit. One of our broadcast partners made a joke at lunch yesterday, and I almost passed out coughing because I've had this chest thing for the last week.
Yes.
Holy cow! So I'm trying not to laugh.
She's funny.
She really is funny.
It wasn't kind.
No,
but it was funny. Hilarious.
And you know what? No one's feelings were hurt because nobody was being...
Okay.
Okay.
We're moving on.
Moving on. If you take nothing else away from this episode, please take this. Everything you are should be represented in your brand. If you want people to feel closer to you and familial, make that part of your branding. Mm-hmm. If you want people to think you're the smartest, most cutthroat shark, use a shark in your branding. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm playful with
yeah, you're being playful. Right. I get it.
What I'm saying is, think about how you could better represent who you are in everything you do in the world.
I had a business coach one time that said, you better learn how to have a soft smile on your face at all times.
I think that's great.
And I thought that was an interesting thing to say.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
A soft smile. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what it means, but it sounds to me like it's means
the opposite of resting.
Always be kind. That's what it sounds like to me.
You know, what she was talking about is if you're a person, no matter your gender, if you're a person who just naturally has kind of a stern look on their face, then she was saying work on that, because when you're more approachable, more business comes to you. That was really the point of what she was saying.
What made me start thinking about this, honestly, is I've joined a new BNI chapter. And when you start your BNI training, it's all online now, by the way. When you and I were in BNI years ago, it wasn't. You had to do paper slips and all that. Well, one of the training things was reading body language when you're networking. And I thought it was really cool because they showed the way people stand to be inclusive to other people in a conversation, and the way people stand to block out other people in a conversation. And we witnessed 3 people that were cloistered together with their feet facing one another. Mm-hmm. They were closed for business. They didn't want anybody coming up and talking to them at that moment.
Absolutely.
And that, we were talking about branding. I was going through those BNI classes, and I thought, you know what? It's not a good brand to lock out other people when you're talking. Mm-hmm. And that's why I wanted to do this episode.
Right. And I often will open up our circle for people to join. I feel like a conversation that if you're in a room of people and you're trying to have a conversation that you have to block other people out of, that conversation shouldn't happen in that room.
I agree.
Take it someplace else.
I fully agree.
You know what I mean?
That.
Because when you're in a room full of people, I don't care what the room is, you are networking and being open and inclusive. And you've seen me do it a million times. Right. Open up the circle, whether we're at a table, open up the chairs, open up our circle of people standing. Because if someone comes nearby, I want them to know we have room for you here. You are always included with us.
Well, inclusivity is a big part of the brand. And that's how you want people to feel when they interact with us. Yeah. And you know what? They are included, and that's what we want to do.
Right.
I can't wait to tell everybody what the new name's going to be.
You can't.
I'm not going to. That's it. I don't have much more to say. Do you have anything else you want to add? Because
I really don't. I think we've said it all and done it all.
Yeah. It's all about who you want the world to perceive you as. And I'll give you another tip. You don't get to demand how they see you, but you sure can make it easy for them to see you how you want to be seen.
The branding expert that I was just talking to last week said it's no longer about what you say to people. It's about what they say to each other about who they think you are.
I love that. I love that.
Yep.
That's the best part of the show. Say it one more time.
Branding's no longer about what you say to people. It's about what they say to each other about who they think you are.
There you have it, and there it is. This has been one of the last editions of The Session.
We're not going
with
anywhere.
Londa and David. The show will still be here every week, but it will have a new name. I really want to tell you guys what it is, but I know she won't let me. All right, there you have it, and there it is. For Londa, Joanne, Sherwood, Austin, my name's David Austin, and this has been The Session with Londa and David.